Hi everyone, Michelle McClellan, astrologer, life coach, coming to you from a very warm Cape Town in South Africa, and I'm bringing this update on Valentine's Day, which is the 14th of February. If you're watching it today, then happy Valentine's Day. And if you're not watching it today, this is really a week of love. That's what I see. Not only because it's Valentine's Day, but because of the astrology of the time. So we're headed towards a beautiful full moon in Leo, which is kind of a life-changing, destiny-changing full moon. It really is igniting destiny, igniting possibly something that we're actually going to be moving forward into. And it all revolves around love and creativity and being in our true essence. So really, when we look at love and we look at the theme of love on Valentine's Day, obviously it's beautiful to get flowers, it's beautiful to get chocolates, it's lovely to tell people that we love them, but it's actually also the collective. It's moving into, can we love the collective? How do we feel about the collective? Other than just that special one person or 3 people or 5 people that we love. What does love mean in a broader sense? Is it something outside of us that you show me love, so therefore I feel loved? Is it conditional? Well, no, love is actually our essence, and it's already here. We don't have to go looking for it anywhere. It's already inside us. And that's what this full moon is igniting in a big way. So while I'm still on the subject of Valentine's Day, John and I have a retreat coming up from the 11th to the 15th of March in Hogsback. And we have the Valentine's special, which is an early bird special until tomorrow. So the Valentine's special is available until tomorrow, the 15th of February, as well as you're able to actually bring a partner to Hogsback for half the price. And so we're trying to keep the price really affordable, because Hogsback is the most incredible venue. So please have a look at our website. I'll leave a link below. It's journeysofawakening.com, and just click on Hogsback Retreat and you'll get all the information, and you're welcome to contact us if you have any questions, or even if you need a payment plan to allow you to come with us and join us for 5 days of deep retreat, where we will be exploring all these energies. It's a shift retreat. It's a transformational retreat. It's dealing very clearly with the energies that we have right now, which I'm actually going to go into more of as I go into this reading. So we invite you to join us there. So back to the full moon. This full moon is more sort of active than normal. So whenever we've got a full moon, we've got the sun and the moon opposite each other. So the sun is in Aquarius, which is the sign of the collective, new vision, new community, new earth, if you like. The moon is in Leo, which is the sign of the heart, the sign of creativity. It's the sign of expression. It's the sign of love. This is an opening. A full moon is an opening. It's a release. So it's a release of light codes into us from other realms. That's actually what's happening. We're passing through the photonic belt, and we're actually bringing in more light than we ever have before, which can sometimes feel a little bit overwhelming because there's a lot of shifts happening very quickly. So this is really, if you look at the symbology of Aquarius, Aquarius is the water bearer, even though it's an air sign. And I see this as pouring love into anything that we do, pouring love into humanity, pouring love into our creative projects, pouring love into whatever is happening in this moment. Love being, if you go further into love, pouring acceptance, pouring allowing, pouring gentleness, pouring softness, and most importantly, opening as opposed to closing. So this is all beautiful. In addition to that, we have the full moon in what we call a square aspect to the nodes of the moon. The nodes of the moon are the destiny nodes. So this feels very destined. It feels that we are at a turning point. So anything that you've kind of been thinking about, cogitating about, but hasn't been moving forward, this could definitely be a time where you get to choose. You say, okay, is this Am I moving in the right direction for this? And how can I actually start to manifest the vision that I have, which is also an Aquarius theme, vision. So what is the vision that we have for our lives, and how can we actually bring it into fruition? A lot of us are considering moving into community, for example. Is there something that we can do to pour love into that and to open more doors towards that? The other thing that's happening at the moment on full moon is that Mars and Venus, so two personal planets, one representing the feminine, which is Venus, and Mars representing the masculine, are right together at the same degree on the same day as the full moon, which is quite powerful. They're in the sign of Capricorn, and really that sort of says to me, Capricorn is the sign of the builder. It's the sign of maturity. It's the sign of responsibility. So how can we, masculine and feminine, work together to build a new vision? How can we be more responsible in our relationships with each other? How can we bring more love, Venus, into our relationships? How can we take more loving, Venus, action, Mars, towards building that new vision that we have for our lives? So it's definitely, this definitely does feel a bit like a shifting point, because Mars and Venus together, what happens is they come together once every couple of years and they start a new cycle. So when they come together, they're basically starting a brand new cycle. And the cycle is quite powerful because it's in Capricorn, which is about building, which is about looking at systems that do work, systems that don't work, and letting go of what doesn't work so that we can actually maintain what does work towards towards the new future. So being responsible, taking responsible action, balancing the masculine and feminine, balancing the doing and the being. So we have these visions, we have these downloads, we might be getting insights from the spiritual realm, from other realms. How do we action that in a conscious, present way? So it's not just about sitting back waiting for it to happen. It's about engaging and dancing with the energy. If you look at Mars and Venus, it's like a very close dance. There's the masculine and the feminine. There's the leading and the following. There's the surrender to the music, dancing with the music, not trying to control, but showing up in a responsible way. So that's very clear in terms of what that is, and very powerful actually as well, because it's very, because the nodes of the moon are really about what direction are we moving into. What also really resonates with me is that the rulers of the nodes, so the nodes have just changed into new signs. So the north node is now in Taurus and the south node is in Scorpio. They're always opposite each other. And that's after a couple of years of going through the sign of Gemini and Sagittarius. So when they move into these two much more earthy, much more, more earth, more down to earth, more real, more authentic, it's sort of the energies drop down from the head into the heart. And the interesting thing about the nodes is that the north node in Taurus is ruled by Venus, the south node is ruled by Mars, and those two are together in the sky. So again, we have a third thing that actually says this masculine, feminine energy is actually really up right now, is to just see where our masculine, feminine energy is in balance, where it's out of balance. Now, to help us to do that, we have our good old Pluto, and for the last couple of weeks, we've had the planet Mercury, which has actually been moving towards and connecting with Pluto over the last few days, and is now very slowly starting to move off. What that does is it intensifies our communications. It brings stuff up from the bottom of the surface, not to sound like I'm repeating myself, but this is a long-term theme. Pluto is the evolutionary power. It's the transformative power. So whatever it touches, that's what's being transformed. How do you transform something? Well, you have to become aware of it so that you can transform it. So Mercury in a very tight connection to Pluto says those thought patterns, those belief systems, the way we communicate without even knowing it, unconsciously. We might communicate in a cruel way, in an unloving way, in an unconscious way. When Pluto's around, it will show us that. So a lot of old patterns might come up so that we can see them without judgment, but to say, yeah, really, I would love to transform the way that I communicate, the way I respond, the way I react with more consciousness. This is the time to do that because we're clearing old patterns, and in order to clear them, we need to see them. So that's a really big theme. Old, non-loving patterns, old, non-loving attachments to something within ourselves or others. It's almost like we're being cracked open in a way. That's the energy of Pluto. Pluto tends to crack open whatever needs to be cracked open so that we can see it and we can then transform it. That's the process of transformation. That's going to be followed by Mars and Venus also moving into a close conjunction where they come together with Pluto as well. So that'll be a continuation of this energy that we're feeling now. The energy that you're feeling around this full moon, you might find that it's got a link back to November, where something may have happened in November which didn't quite happen, which you thought might happen and didn't. And now you've had time to go back into it because Mercury's been going retrograde, and now Mercury is direct and it's moving out from this conjunction with Pluto. So it almost feels that this full moon, which is connected to the lunation in November, I think it was an eclipse, is basically bringing this almost to a point where you can now possibly move forward with whatever didn't work. So that might resonate with you if you look back to November. Just on the 14th, 15th actually, in fact later today, Mercury will be moving into the sign of Aquarius. That kind of almost allows us, so from Capricorn into Aquarius, it allows us to sort of see anew, to shift our consciousness, to shift our mind patterns. That's Mercury into Aquarius. Opening to the new, allowing ourselves to evolve into new potential, to increase our frequencies. So over the next couple of months, Mars and Venus will also move into Aquarius. They'll join Saturn there. So there's a big move towards the Aquarian side, which is really activating higher frequencies, new potentials, new visions, new community, a new way of seeing things, new perspectives. So this is the time where we really need to let go of the old perspectives that are not serving us, and so that we can actually shift into the new, into what we really are, but to actually become more real and more connected to our true essence is really what this is about, the way I see it. The other part, which is forming, is the two planets, Jupiter and Neptune. I did speak to them a couple of videos back. I'm not sure which one it was. And that those two planets are moving towards a conjunction, which means they're coming together in April. And they're both in the sign of Pisces, which is also a huge clue about these times that we're in. Pisces is about spiritual connection. It's about true connection. It's about divine connection. It's about opening to blessings, flowing with life, flowing in the river, allowing the river to lead us, but showing up. We're not going to drown. We're going to paddle. We're going to keep ourselves afloat, but we're going to allow the river to lead us, the river of life. And if we do that, when we do that, there's huge potential in the next few months for miracles, for blessings, for things that we did not see, for alignments between people, for manifestations of things that might have just been in our dreams before. But we've got to stay open. That's the big thing. Stay open, allow, and flow. And it's almost like we've got to get out of our own way, because we often tend to try and control, and that kind of switches off the flow. So it's about getting out of the way and allowing, showing up, doing what we need to do, building what we need to build, but not controlling. It's it's a real sort of a balance point. That's the balance point between Venus and Mars, masculine and feminine, doing, being, acting, responding. I'm quite excited about this full moon because it just feels like something's opening, that our hearts are opening, that we are opening to more creativity, to more connection, to more authenticity. And in the process of doing that, we are letting go of what we don't need. That's the other Jupiter Neptune thing, is releasing that which we don't need, whether that's physical stuff, whether it's patterns, whether it's ways of reacting, ways of responding, belief systems. This is about releasing and opening, releasing and opening. I mean, these flowers that I put next to me, we were gifted with the other night, and they say it all. They say opening, softness, but dynamism. They're incredibly beautiful and incredibly powerful, but also very soft, very soft. I did pull a card. I wasn't going to, but I did. It's also again out of the Divine Feminine pack. And I pulled Sarasvati, which is the goddess of self-knowledge. She represents the self-knowledge of who we are, so that nothing impedes the flow of creativity from the soul. Her name is a fusion of the Sanskrit words for essence and oneself. Sarasvati's name translates then as the one who leads to the essence of self-knowledge. So I'm not going to give you the whole history of her, but when our souls select this card, which is just so beautifully aligned with Leo, this is what it says. When we're aligned with the essence of who we are, love, then what needs to be communicated through us, whether with words or music or artwork, can flow. When our creativity feels blocked or stagnant, it isn't because the waters have dried up. We might fear this, but the truth is, self-awareness is the key to unlocking our creative flow. When we take the time to return to the essence of who we really are and nurture that essence, we realign again with the river of expression that the soul generates. Sarasvati is the reminder that anything we create that purifies us in the process of making it is a blessing. Interesting. Anything we do that purifies us in the process of doing it is a blessing. Our art should not be judged on popularity, but on its power to transform us. And under that, I would say all expression, not just artistic expression as we know. Anything we do, any action that we take during the day falls under that, because any action we take is a creative action. Sarasvati is a call to return to the essence of our true self. The energy of her card is a charge for more self-knowledge, more awareness of our unique soul and what our needs are in this moment. She leads us back into that finely attuned space where we can express with ease and grace what the soul desires most to share. And that energy feels like a river moving through us. It heals, it liberates, and it inspires others to return to their own essence as well. Soul voice meditation. This is something you might ask yourself. What is one word to describe the essence of my true self? That's beneath the roles, beneath the name, beneath the accomplishments, beneath the achievements. The true self. What is the one word to describe the essence of my true self? And the intention is the essence of who I am flows effortlessly into everything I create. So those are very beautiful reminders and affirmations for this full moon. So on the full moon, take some time to release that which you don't need, to put your intentions out into the universe, to shift what you need to shift. It's a very powerful full moon, this one. So that's about it from the astrology side. Thank you for listening or watching, whatever you did. And again, just a reminder to have a look at our Hogsback retreat. We'd love to have you. It's an incredibly powerful place. And we drive a long way to get there simply because it's such a powerful place. It's got the most beautiful labyrinth I've ever seen. and walked, and we walked often. And it's really a 5-day immersion into beauty, into love, into your essence, into creativity. Do a lot of creative projects and activities. And then, of course, there's the nature and the food and the people. So it really is, if you want to treat yourself, then this is a good way to do it. You're also welcome to join Inner Space for March. The information is also down below, the link there. And thank you again. And stay in love, be in love. You're surrounded by love. You're filled with love. You are love. So just remember that. Thanks, everyone.